Okay, so what I'd like to do today is I'd like to share a text with you that we can use to practice noticing aha moments. And we want to make sure that we continue to reference our handout or our anchor chart that looks like this, that basically talks to us about what an aha moment is, and as well as the clue words that help us to realize what an aha moment is. But the most important thing we want to be continually reminding ourselves of is that all important anchor question, which is when we notice a character realizing something or seeing something for the first time or coming to a broader understanding, we need to remember that we need to ask ourselves, how might this change things? So what we have today are a series of scenes or excerpts, pieces of a longer text that we've pulled from a book called Crash by Jerry Spinelli. It's about a middle school kid named Crash who bullies another kid. And the kid he bullies is named Penn Webb. And Crash often calls him by his last name and just calls him Webb. The first scene we're going to read today is from the beginning of the story. It's about page 2, in fact, when the main character Crash is outside and sees Penn walking down the sidewalk. So you're going to need to have that text with you. It's in your unified classroom. If you don't have it, you may also have it on your Nearpod. It was a sunny summer day. I was in the front yard digging a hole with my little red shovel. I heard something like whistling. I looked up. It was whistling. It was coming from a funny-looking, dorky little runt walking up the sidewalk. Only he wasn't just walking regular. He was walking like he owned the place, both hands in his pockets, sort of swaying, la-dee-da, with each step. Strolling and gawking at the houses and whistling a happy little dorky tune like some Sneezy or Snoozy or whatever their names are. And he wore a button, a big one. It covered about half his chest, which wasn't that hard since his chest was so scrawny. So here he came strolling, whistling, gawking, buttoning, dorking up the sidewalk, onto my sidewalk, my property. And all of a sudden I knew what I had to do, like there was a big announcement coming down from the sky. Don't let him pass. I'm going to pause here because I spotted the phrase, all of the sudden I knew what I had to do. And I realized that the author's given me a clue that the character has suddenly discovered something. When an author shows me that a character has realized something, I want to stop, I want to notice it, and I want to note it. And I want to think about what it means. Spinelli, the author, emphasizes the point even more strongly by adding, like there was a big announcement coming from the sky. So the author does not want me to miss this. Okay, so that's why we need to notice and note these things, because the authors really think they're important. That's another clue in the text that the author has suddenly grown aware of something. The character, excuse me. Both phrases let me know that the character has grasped something important, and that the insight, the realization, the understanding is going to change things in the story. And then Spinelli tells me what Crash has realized. He cannot let the kid pass. When I see a character with an aha moment, I need to ask myself the question, how might that change things? I think I know how, or at least I can make a guess about what he's going to do next. Even without reading the story, I think he's going to confront this kid. He's referred to him as funny-looking, dorky little runt. He's going to make him stop, and he's probably going to do something to humiliate the kid, though I'll have to keep reading to see if that theory is correct. When authors show us those aha moments, we need to pay attention. Maybe Crash has realized he wants a friend, though since he's been calling him unpleasant names, I don't really think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to bully him. Now let's skip ahead in the book to another aha moment. In this next section, from excerpt 2, we find that Crash and Penn are about to compete against each other in a school race. Webb's parents and his great-grandfather, Henry Webb III, have come to watch Penn run. Crash is looking at the three of them in the stands, thinking of his own grandfather, Scooter. Until now, Crash has continued to bully Penn. As I read, see if you notice the aha moment that Crash has. You should be following along as I read to you. The stands were empty. A school bus moved in the distance beyond the football goal post. Under the crossbar and between the uprights, like a framed picture, stood three people. For once, Webb's parents didn't look so odd, not compared to the man standing between them. He was shorter than them and real skinny, like the prairie winds were eroding him away. But he was standing straight and by himself. No cane, no walker, just two legs, 93 years old. Maybe it was the Missouri River mud. The thought came to me. They would have liked each other, Scooter and Henry Wilhide Webb III. Two storytellers, both from the great flat open spaces, one a prairie of grass, one of water. Both came to watch when no one else was there. Did you hear the aha moment? When I saw the phrase, the thought came to me, I knew that Crash had figured something out. He had had an aha moment. Authors use these aha moments to show us insight, something that the character now understands. Once you spot the aha moment, think about the question we might ask ourselves. How might this change things? How might Crash's realization that the two grandfathers might have liked one another change Crash and Crash's relationship with Pen? This time, I'd like you to think about the question. On the next page, I'd like you to answer that question. How might Crash's realization that the two grandfathers might have liked one another change the story and the characters? We're going to answer that now.